Hello everyone, this is Crypto Hill back again today with another video. Today's video is actually going to be solely based on just current market analysis and what the team has been noticing within the last few days and whether we think there's a reversal that will be coming in the next few weeks. We're also going to be going over two key tools that the team also uses in order to analyze the current state of the market and um, that can help determine whether, excuse me, whether the market is in a reversal stage. Now, the first thing we're going to look at here is MATIC. One thing I want to point out here is just recently, so this is the 4-hour candlestick chart. The downward wedge that we had originally drawn from a few weeks ago, MATIC was trading within. It had a couple bounces off the support line. So these are the two red lines that you see diagonal across the screen here. And just recently, actually, yesterday, we had a huge breakthrough. And if you can see on the chart, there were two smaller, one green, one red candlesticks there that actually got rejected off of the resistance. But MATIC was able to come through, and you guys can see that there with that large green candle. Now, this indicates bullish movement for MATIC because of how long it was trading within this wedge, and it would have been vice versa if MATIC had broke through the downside, the support, the bottom red line. Then it would be fair to say that MATIC was in a downtrend. But the team is pretty excited over this as MATIC has made a breakthrough, which indicates a bullish movement.
Yeah, just another thing to add here. So MATIC breaking this, if you miss this trade here, I know we made a little trade I put on our TikTok about us entering around the 190 level, and we sold it right before this break because we thought a rejection was going to come and continue the trend. But if you're looking to get in now after this pullback, I think the next key level is to see what happens with MATIC at around the 200 EMA level, the 225 area. See if it gets rejected or if it breaks through. And another thing to look at is the bullish divergence we have here forming. With the higher lows and the price coming down. So we have a little bit of bullish RSI divergence there, and with the break above this descending triangle, I think MATIC's in a good spot right now. But yeah, let's go to Bitcoin. There was something. I had this little double bottom here at 30 or 40,000. I think Bitcoin again just have to wait for movement, either back up to this line to the 42, the 43 area, or you got to see if it plays on this resistance again and what happens there. You're still far away from the 200 EMA, so if you're playing it safe, I think the level you'd want to look at for a safe buying opportunity would be when it gets close to this EMA, right? So high 40s, mid 40s. You want to look kind of it break above this breakdown area, right above the 46,000 area. But yeah, so Bitcoin's kind of doing the same thing. And then if it holds this 39.5 level, right? If it comes down to this 39.5 level, then if it breaks below that, then you're kind of free falling, and you could see down to 30K, right? So, but I think we're gonna get a bounce coming soon. I think it's all building up right now, and we'll talk about some reasons why we think that a bigger move is coming, and this is more of a rounding bottom than kind of like a
Like a sideways movement.
yeah, like a sideways and then down. I think it's more of a rounding bottom, and then we're gonna find more of a bigger move coming here because we
Yeah.
really haven't had any other than these small pullbacks.
And I
Yeah.
think I think Bitcoin has about a week, 7 days exactly. Tomorrow will be the 10th, and then the wedge is kind of ending around the 17th. I think Bitcoin has about a week to indicate which way it wants to move, because once it hits the corner of that wedge, it's going to have to choose, essentially. So just to go off your 200-day EMA point as well, it is important to wait until it goes back up to the 200-day EMA and whether it gets rejected or if it's able to break through, because then that will be a clear indication of if Bitcoin's going to be back well over 50 or 60,000.
Yeah, exactly. And then just a quick little one on ADA here. We actually made another small trade on ADA, but I actually ended up holding a lot of the position instead of selling it for the little 7% or 7 or 8% we made in that day. We think ADA is really a really good buying area here just because of this 120 level that was, huge resistance for the whole existence of Cardano, really. Like, as soon as it became alive, 120 was a huge level that it bounced off of and broke through. And, you know, think about where Cardano came from, middle of 2021, we were at $3, and it's just been straight downhill since then, right? So to say that, if you're shorting ADA here, or you're bearish on Cardano, you got to think that the coin's going to zero or under $1. Or, there's a really good reason to believe that this is a bottom on Cardano. So we're really bullish on this coin, and levels to see it come up and test again. You want it to get back above this 120. You want it to break, like we got rejected here a few times, right? Actually, multiple times, 4 times here we got rejected, right? You had this big wick, and this 4-hour closed below, another one here, and then 2 here, and we're seeing more downside now. So 120 is definitely a strong area. So to see it get above here and then maybe even start forming a little bit of an ascending triangle or see some big volume come in would be a pretty good indication to open up a position.
And just another thing to add here, I know you had already drawn it out on the MATIC chart, but we're seeing the same thing with the ADA chart here with the RSI and the higher low.
Yeah.
So just recently you can see that even though Cardano has been moving down slightly, you do have the higher low with the RSI, which is a positive indication, as it's representing the same situation as MATIC, where the coin is slightly trading downwards, but the RSI is making higher lows, which is another thing that, you kind of look at a chart and, not everybody would notice that, because you're just like, oh, it's the RSI, it's oversold, it's overbought. But if you were to really, dig a little bit deeper and notice the smaller trends, you could see that it is indicating that Cardano should be breaking that 120. I know it was mentioned that it is heavy support there. I mean, heavy resistance, but you got the end of the wedge coming here. So just like Bitcoin, Cardano is also going to have to choose a direction within the next few days. So it's going to be important to keep an eye on it.
Yeah. And again, what Steve said about this next week, like the 17th, I think this next week coming is going to be again, like what he said, the beginning of this turn, right? I feel like we're in a big, you can see it on Bitcoin here a lot more. But if you guys don't know Wyckoff accumulation, go look up a diagram. Maybe I'll even show you one here. But Bitcoin has played out this perfect Wyckoff accumulation since this liquidation candle. And we're pretty much just nearing the end of it now. And this is just another accumulation area, right? You have another area here. This was that final bite down, and then we should get maybe another test down here to the 40,000, and then just a takeoff to make new all-time highs, which I think will come sometime next week, if not maybe on the weekend. But it's coming soon. I think 10 days we're going to see some big movement to the upside here. I don't think there's a lot more. The bears can push this further down.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I know in previous videos, we're constantly talking about that big liquidation candle that Bitcoin saw. And I know when we were discussing how the 45K was that huge support, when it broke through that 45K, we said it would reach, to the 40 to 42K level. That liquidation candle is actually now filled. So Bitcoin will be able to now move up without having to retest any of like that 40K support. So that's just one other quick reason that we've been discussing over the last couple of videos, that we're also positive on the movement of crypto in the next week. Okay, so this is one of the examples, one of the 2 information sets that the team uses in order to determine movement in the market. This is the first one. It's the Fear and Greed Index. I'm sure many of you have heard about it, but the team actually loves this index. Now, something you want to look for on this index, pretty much what happens is it measures how much fear and greed is actually going on in the market. So whether you're in a bull, bear market, you're going to see how much uncertainty there is. The more uncertainty, the more fear. If you can see in the top left, that box where it's the Fear and Greed Index showing the The 23 listed now as extreme fear. So the team believes that anywhere from a 10 to 15 fear range is actually an amazing buy. And then once you hit that 35 range, you start to move into the greed index. And then it would be a smart choice to start slowly selling off your holdings once you hit 35 and on from there up until about 50.
Yeah. And just a quick thing about the fear and greed. If you can see all the times, right? So obviously when the greed's pulling up here to the 70s, and this is, you can kind of see this as the Bitcoin price as well. This is just Bitcoin. Um, but all these times where, the fear was, it's where was it below 10? If it was, here's 10, right? So 10 has been this kind of bottom, right? For the 10 again. So every time it's been, I'd say below 25, even 20, it was the best buying opportunity you could have done, right? Like here, these were all bottoms, buying and then selling up here in the 60 pluses, 70s. Same thing here, came back down to 20s, 24. And then where we've been now is just this whole these last 3 months, right? Ever since mid-November, it's been coming down, and then it was, once it hit the 20 area late November, it's been coming down slowly, and then we had this little pullback to the 45, and we had 10 show again January 8th. So I think, to start making buys, especially after this last kind of pullback we're having to the low 40s where we are right now, you can use this as an indication to see, the fear in the market, right? And if everyone's selling and everyone's fearful, it's one of the best times to be buying in any type of market, right? So definitely in crypto. So yeah, this is one of the tools we use a lot.
Exactly. And just one more quick point on the fear 10 we saw, I think it was, yeah, January 8th. Anybody following the market, every day, all the time, would have noticed that there was a large bounce last night going into this morning. And you can see that the fear actually went from a 10, which was yesterday, to up to 23 already. And we're talking about 10+% moves. I know MATIC had a big move. I know Bitcoin made up some ground. So I know Solana, we made a nice trade on Solana as well. So there were a couple that did bounce pretty well. And even just short term, to be able to use this, obviously for swing long term, you want it up above 35, you can hit it all the way to 70 for greed. But even for, a shorter term period, this is actually a pretty good tool to use in order to determine good buying positions along with your technical analysis, vice versa, that the market has in Bitcoin.
Yeah. So as you can see, this is the last year. And this blue, the lines here are basically the algorithm's confidence in Bitcoin's at the top. And then these dots is the Bitcoin price, and this is the date down here, and then just volume on the bottom. But basically, even in the last 3 years, you get a better look at it. You can see, this thing kind of follows the trend of the price. And then when you have these dips, so I would say anywhere below 50 is kind of where you had like these flat lines, these plateaus, either getting ready for, another takeoff or a pullback, or sorry, a takeoff, not a pullback. And then once you're above 50 and you're in the 60s and the 70s, right? So here when we were at 69, right around here, it was at 62, right? So when you're above 50, I would say you should start, same thing with the fear and greed, right? This is the same type of thing you're looking at, just overall market. This is more of an algorithm based thing, and this is good for kind of calling bottoms. And when this is really low, like look, we're at 46 right now, right? And the last time it was like every time it's been below 50, you've kind of seen it was the bottom, right? So here was at 46, 29k, and then it made on to make a run all the way to 50, right? And then we go to 58, and then it comes back down to below 50 or 51, and then we made the run to 60k and above. And then if you're at 60 confidence and higher, it's definitely dangerous to be trading, because with anything, any markets, stuff comes up, stuff's got to come down, right? So this is another indicator too, right? Just to add on to your consensus of how you feel about making a trade, right? You think, maybe you think now's a good time to buy, and this kind of puts you over the edge to actually make the trade, right? Or if you were here and you think it's a good time to buy, and you go look at this and you say, shit, you know what, maybe we're a little bit overly extended, and this could be, you know, kind of close to the top right now for this current trend. And I'll wait, right? And then you wait and you see it come down like this, and then you pick it up below 50, and then you're looking pretty good. But it hasn't been below 40 since Bitcoin was 14K, right? 2020. So a year and a little bit ago. So, you know, to see it go below 40 would be crazy, right? Because it hasn't came below 40 in a long time. So this is another good tool too, and these are the guys that run it here, and they take donations and stuff. But we'll have these links in the description for sure.
And with that amazing point, this is going to conclude today's video. Once again, thank you everyone who watches and leaves a comment, a like, any type of support. It means a lot to the team. And you know, if you have learned something from this video, because I know a lot of people do know about the Fear and Greed Index and the CBBI charts, but we thought we would get a video out for anyone who wasn't aware. And yeah, I just want to reiterate that we appreciate everybody who watches the videos. And this is Crypto Hill, and we'll see you in the next one.